Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, which for the first time in a long while dropped below $90,000 down to the 89,300 range. As I wrote in the title of the video, buying Bitcoin at any price is the motto of fools. Nevertheless, Bitcoin has dropped by more than $30,000 from its all-time highs. Maybe it's worth considering buying, but I'll explain whether there are reasons for that. Let's move on to the chart. Take note that on the chart we have 4-hour candles for Ethereum. The video is dedicated to Bitcoin. But what do I want to show? I want to show a fairly typical structure. A 4-hour candle, right where the cursor is, updates the local low, closes with a solid green body, and then we get a correction to the middle of the wick of that candle. For a certain period we didn't go any lower, and there was a fairly noticeable rise in terms of 4-hour candles. We have a very similar situation on the daily Bitcoin candles. At the moment, there are still a few hours left before the daily candle closes, but if this daily candle closes the way it looks right now, the way it is at the moment, then there is a pretty good chance for growth. And I'll show you which area and with what parameters it makes sense to open a long position. Let's switch to the weekly candles for Ethereum. Here I have a certain markup, and this is what it looks like. Notice that for Ethereum, the key level is 2,900, or let's say $30. 29.29. We fell just a little short of reaching this level. Basically, that's normal. Ideally, of course, it would have been better if we had touched this level. The fact that we didn't touch it is not good, because it indirectly suggests that the level still retains its magnetism. Nevertheless, from the area of the 5-week and 100-week moving averages near this level, since we came very close to it, we might see a bounce. A bounce to where? To the area around $3,500. Why this level? Well, you can see, right? Here we had the first kind of correction on the weekly candles. We tested it from above twice, yes. And when we broke through, we went much further down, and now it acts as resistance and at the same time as a magnet in case of growth. If we close the current week with a green candle above the 5-week and 100-week moving averages, then with high probability, we'll head to the 3,500 area to test this resistance. Now let's move on to Bitcoin. On the weekly candles, we have this kind of trading range. Here it is. Let me mark it a bit wider. Here it is. And this trading range has a key candle. Here is the lowest close. Notice where Bitcoin has come and where it is currently trading. Right at this level, $93,738. If the downward movement continues, it will most likely reach this level at $86,000. Or we can look at it from another perspective as well. Look, I'll mark it in blue on purpose. The level 89,855 is the base of the green candle. We tested it as well. We tested it today with the candles wick. And if the downward movement continues, it might not stop at 86,000, and we could reach the level of the next green candle at its base. That's $80,216. And now we're figuring out, is the movement upward after all, or downward? As I promised or told you, we'll take a look at the daily candles, so let's switch to them. On the daily candles, first of all, we have a very strong oversold condition on the RSI. This isn't a guarantee of a reversal, but it's one of the factors indicating that the decline could stop here. Secondly, we have this green candle. And if it also engulfs the previous red candle, that will be an even stronger signal for an upward move. It doesn't have to be today's candle that does the engulfing. It could happen tomorrow. What's important is that today's candle closes with a green body. And ideally, the body of the candle should be larger than the upper wick. Now let's determine the target levels. They're quite clear here. And here is the first of the target levels. This is the 300-day moving average, which is $104,000, yes. And the second target level is the base of this red candle right here, right? Actually, it comes first, it's earlier. So our growth zone, if today we close the candle, as I already said, in green and preferably with a solid body, meaning the body should be larger than the upper shadow, then our target zone is here. Now, where should we take a position? The position should be taken between the following levels. I'll mark them in white again. Look, 92,200 is the base of the candle. And the second zone is approximately, well, let's mark it like this, $90,700. That's the middle of the candle. Well, you could also consider 90,000. And at the same time, you should have a stop in place. Let's mark it in red, because this is a key level from a risk management perspective, below 89,253. So the potential long entry zone, if we close today with a green candle, is located right here, and the target growth zone is also situated here. Let's carefully mark this trajectory and wait until the next video to see just how accurate this forecast actually was. So this is roughly the kind of movement I'm expecting. Of course, this upward movement could look like this, kind of jagged or broken, but the movement should be something like that. What will happen next? I don't know. After that, it could either move down or break through or test and move even higher. I don't know that. But right now, the situation looks bullish at the moment, and it looks even more bullish for Ethereum, with target levels at $3,500. Well, for Bitcoin, as you can see, 99,104. Subscribe to the channel and leave your comments. I'll be happy to welcome new subscribers. See you next time. Goodbye.